Hey everyone, welcome back. Just got another casual video for you today, not planned or scripted or anything like that. But today we're going to be having a look at my big box video game collection. I know a lot of us over a certain age have very fond memories of walking into computer stores and seeing these big boxes on the shelf and wondering what goodies lay within, and hopefully if we were lucky, walking away with a wonderful new treasure of our own. I'm not going to be covering the history of big box video games in this video. There's no need to. But if you want to know a little bit more, Ahoy and LGR have both done excellent videos. I'll link to them in the description, but they're well worth having a look at if you really want to know a little bit more about what makes big boxes big boxes. So today I've got about, I think something like 25 or 30 boxes to go through. I'm going to have to split this into two videos because I'd like to talk a little bit about each game history that I've got with it, what it means to me, and I don't want to be having to race through them and try and get through them without having much to say about them, in the interest of keeping the videos brief. So I'll split it into two, and hopefully that'll give me enough time to go through the boxes and show you what I've got, and impart a little bit of impart a few memories with you. So we're going to start off with an absolute classic. We've got Civilization here, Sid Meier's Civilization, the original one. Of all the big boxes, this is actually the newest one in my collection. I received this one, I think, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I've only actually played this once so far, but it's quite a lot of fun so far. Works fine on my computer and all that, but I'm really quite struck with how much they managed to pack into the game for 1991. Not just with gameplay and all that, but also visuals, graphics, all that sort of thing. The intro videos to this absolutely blew my mind. I was not expecting anything like that. To see like the sky and the nebula and the planets forming and all that sort of thing, it was really quite impressive. So I can't really say much about this game because, again, I haven't got much experience with it, but this particular one originally came on two 5.25-inch diskettes, but whoever had this game before me took some Microsoft IntelliPoint discs and made backups. So really quite pleased about that, because I currently can't play any 5.25-inch discs because my XT is currently completely disassembled, and I don't really have anything else I can use the discs with at the moment. So it's quite good to have. Always good to have a good backup. So yeah, Civilization. Can't say much about this other than I saw it for a good price. I thought I want to add a little bit more to the collection because I've got a few Civ games already, and yeah, this one seems alright. I know that plenty of people have got some good memories of Civilization. Mine are more from the later games in the series, but hey, Civilization, always good. And of course, leads me into the next one along, Civilization 2. I originally got this game as part of like a 3-in-1 compilation that I got from a second-hand shop a couple of years ago, and it didn't have any documentation or anything like that with it, so I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And it was sort of just playing around with this, and yeah, it was just, I was completely lost. Because I'm used to Civ 4, 5, and 6. Those are the ones I've played a lot more of. So I saw this one pop up a while ago on Trade Me, and I thought, oh, okay, this is a good opportunity for me to get the documentation and all the information that comes with it. And yeah, very comprehensive manual in there. Very good to sit down with and have a good long peruse through. But yeah, this one and Civ 1, in my mind at least, they're very similar in that, I don't know, they just seem a little bit more limited, I suppose you could say, which, fair enough. But it's alright to have a play around with, but at this point I don't really understand too much about this game, but yeah, practice will make perfect. Next up, Microsoft Combat Flight Simulator 3. And I'm hoping I've got all these games in the right alphabetical order, because I'm going to kick myself if I don't. I've got the original Combat Flight Simulator 1 I had that one as a kid, just a basic dual case one, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Had a hell of a lot of time flying over Europe, shooting down Jerry's and all that sort of thing. Awful lot of fun. I picked up Combat Flight Simulator Flight Simulator 2 early last year, the one that you fly over the Pacific and all that, and I haven't played very much of that because at the time my computer couldn't play it. And this one also popped up a little while ago on Trade Me, and I'll open it up because there's actually some interesting stuff in here. So you've got the disc for 3, obviously, but also that one. So whoever had this has, for some reason, mixed the two together, but never mind. It's also got the manual for the original one and also the third one. And no, that's everything in there. Haven't played much of this one either, because up until recently my IBM Aptiva it didn't want to play any 3D games, or at least not very well, because it had a NVIDIA GeForce 5200 video card in there, because I didn't really have anything else. And yeah, couldn't really play any of these. But I'm just going to talk about this one for what the series in general means to me, especially the original one. Yeah, I spent many a Saturday and Sunday morning flying over Europe, just in all these planes that I remember my father and my uncle talking to me about, because they're big, World War II aircraft buffs and all that. I mean, I don't really understand too much about the aircraft themselves. All I know is I can't fly for shit. No. All I know for certain is that it's a lot of fun. Just plug in the joystick, pop in the game, and off you go. And hopefully you shoot the Germans down before they shoot you down. Or the Japanese. Or the Australians, who cares. Okay, next up. And I have got these games out of order. Whoops. You knew he was coming. You knew he had to be in here somewhere. This is actually the first of 3 games I've got that I was given when I was a lot younger, and I couldn't play any of them because back in the day my family had a Windows XP computer, and I didn't really understand anything about DOS or DOS games or anything like that, so I tried playing this, and yeah, I couldn't get this to work. I was able to try out Duke 1 and 2, which are on the CD in here. But yeah, I didn't really understand what was going on. And I have had some trouble running this game on my Aptiva. First, I had a lot of sound issues. I couldn't get any of the sound to work. I've got a sound blaster in there now, and I finally managed to get that fully working. So sound more or less is okay, but I get a lot of problems with the video. I can't actually get a high resolution, high color video in this, and it's a real shame, because I would like to play this game in all its 1990s splendor. So going through, I remember poring over the back of this as a kid and thinking this looked really awesome. Now, when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to play shooting games. It was absolutely forbidden. I wasn't even allowed to have most of the expansions for The Sims because they had a T rating. Or a M rating, I should say. So something like this I would not have been allowed to play as an 11-year-old. But still, I looked at this and I thought, oh, doesn't that look great? I mean, yes, at that point the game was quite old, but it was no less legendary. And I always wondered, what would it be like to play this? Now, as an aside, this is actually the Australian version, as you can see there. And the Australian version is actually censored because we don't want people seeing nipples. Nipples are bad, they are evil, and they will warp your mind. So this is a clean version. It's got all the blood and guts and all the carnage, but no nipples. But the publishers did actually include a patch that you install the game and then you put the patch on there, and you can have all the nipples and bodacious babes that you like. I have managed to get this working on my main computer, my Windows 10 computer, and yeah, I can see why everyone likes it. It's an awful lot of fun. I'm not used to playing too many FPS games, especially not from the 90s, but I can understand why everyone likes Duke Nukem 3D. It's good. I was going to say good, clean fun, but it's not good, clean fun. It's just good fun. Okay, next up in the pile, Extreme Tactics. I will admit I know next to nothing about this game. This was one of the 3 games along with Duke Nukem and one that will be in the next video that I was given. I only recently played this for the first time. Now, I believe this is some sort of mech game where you design your own war machine and fight for something. I really don't know. I tried playing a little bit of it, but yeah, I just didn't really get it. I'm not really too au fait with RTS games. I've got a couple, but when you get into ones like these, yeah, I'm just completely out of my depth. So, yeah, but it's a game, and hey, it's designed for Windows 95, so hey, it has to be good. Next one up, we're getting into the flight sims now with Flight Down Under 2000. Now this is a scenery and Australian experience add-on for Flight Simulator 2000. What it does is it adds in Australian scenery, air traffic control, flight plans, realistic passenger terminal departure points, and things like that into Flight Simulator 2000. So it's got all this, special Australian scenery and that, and it's even got Christchurch, New Zealand, which I would have thought that Auckland would have been the main one because it's the main airport for the entire country, but no, the idea is that you fly over the Southern Alps and you come to land in Christchurch and you can see the ski fields and all that sort of thing, and it all looks very nice. Or it would do if I could get this damn thing to work. Now, the problem is, this game, I think, was burned onto like a backup CD, because the CD that's in there isn't the original one. It's just someone's made their own copy, and it requires a code that isn't in there. So I can't actually use this. I don't know what it's like. I think it has got some scenery packs on there that you can extract, but I'm not too sure about it. I know that it's got a installer, so there is some way to get this to work, but again, I don't have the code. I have looked around online, and there are 1 or 2 codes floating around, but I haven't been able to get them to work. So this basically just sits on the shelf and looks nice, which it's a shame, but well, so be it. Next game on the list, Microsoft Flight Simulator 5.1 on CD. This package is actually really quite weighty. Very thick manual inside here. But yeah, this is basically Flight Simulator 5 with a whole bunch of scenery stuffed onto a CD. Now, if you had a CD-ROM drive in 1995, you were balling. Especially if you were running DOS and all that. But you might recall me playing a little bit of this on the Farmer's Discovery PC video that I did a couple of months back. And yeah, it proved that I can't fly. Well, at least not in this game. But one thing that I was quite struck by was how good this game looks, especially for a DOS game from the mid-1990s. Excuse me. As you can see there, it's got all the 3D scenery of, I think that's Chicago. Seattle up there. I tried flying around Auckland. To no one's surprise, there's nothing there. But the textured land and all that sort of thing, I thought was really quite impressive. I haven't been able to get the most out of this game because the old computers I would like to use this with, they still need a little bit of work, and I can't quite figure out the video settings for this one, so it basically stuck with the playing with the default graphics. But I would like to eventually see if I can get some of these scenery ones, especially the Caribbean. I would love to be able to fly around the Caribbean in this game. But, CD-ROM gives you even more detailed scenery and realism. Yeah, I can believe that. It's honestly quite impressive, and while I've spent more of my time with 2004 and X, and 2000, yeah, this one's pretty good fun, I gotta say. Doesn't look quite as good as the latest one, which doesn't work too well with my computer on its 1080, but for its day, this would have been a beast of a game, and it also looks really good on the shelf, so there's that. And then we come to 2002. This one actually came with the Combat Flight Simulator that I got, and I wasn't after this one, but I thought, hey, it comes in a big box, so I'm not going to say no. As far as I can tell, this one is basically 2000 with a little bit better performance, air traffic control, and no World Trade Center. But it doesn't sound like it's too much different. I might be wrong. I haven't actually played this one. I haven't felt the need because I have got 2000 and 2004. But what I find interesting about this particular box is what's inside. So first off, there's some air combat simulation game. I don't know anything about that one. I don't know why it's in there. Manual, discs, and also some scenery enthusiast brochures or pamphlet sort of things. So these would have come with CDs with different scenery for New Zealand on them, and Christchurch there. I've noticed a lot of these seem to be South Island ones, so I'm guessing it was someone based in Christchurch or something. I haven't got the discs for that, unfortunately, so I can't comment on it, but I have a little bit of a flick through, and yeah, if I got them, I would install them and see if I could have a little bit of fun with them. But yeah, 2002, not really too fussed on it, but yeah, I'll give it a shot one of these days. Now we're getting into the exciting world of golf. Yes, golf. Thrilling stuff. I've actually got another version of this just in jewel case, but I saw this one pop up and it was only a few dollars, so I thought, yeah, why not? Again, I haven't actually played this one, but it still looks pretty impressive all the same for the time. You got to bear in mind this is 1995. One of these days I will try this out and see if it's any good. But I did spend a lot of time in my childhood playing Lynx 2003. And that one, as far as I'm concerned, is the best one because it's got Cody Cliffs on it. And let's be honest, it's got a New Zealand golf course on it, so of course it's the best one. But I'm sure this one's alright. Can't really complain. Speaking of Lynx, here's Lynx. Now, this one has got the exclusive 256 colour graphics, so you know it's pretty swish. And also a really neat box design. I haven't got any other games like that, so that's pretty neat. This one's got a little bit of paper with the club information on it, product catalogue, and it also comes on 5¼ inch discs. Now, haven't been able to get this one to work because, as I said, my 5¼ inch drives aren't working at the moment because they've been completely removed from the computer. But yeah, I remember seeing this one about 10 years ago when I was having a look around at old DOS games and I was starting to get into virtualization and all that. And I have to admit, for about 1990, this does look really great. I mean, for 1995, I would have thought this would look really great. But yeah, can't really comment too much on that at the moment until I can actually get it to work. But Lynx, it's a thing, it's golf, and I've got it. Okay, on to the second pile now. Moving straight on to Midtown Madness 2. Now this one is an absolute classic for me. I spent so many hours as a kid playing this. Before school, after school, on weekends, whenever I could, I played this. I remember finding out about this game on a as a demo. I think it was on a kids magazine CD or something like that. I can't remember exactly where I found out about it, but it was only a 3-minute demo or something like that, and I spent so many times racing around San Francisco in those 3 minutes, trying to cover as much ground as I could. It was a game that I'd never seen before. Up until that point, I'd never seen open world racing games like this before. I'd seen a few like circuit races and things like that, but I'd never actually found a game that gave you the freedom to just drive wherever you wanted to. So this was a huge revelation for me, and so it was really something special to be able to get into a car, with the dashboard up even, which I thought was fantastic, and just go. It just blew my mind that I didn't know it was possible. So this game occupies a special place in my heart simply for that. My first open world driving game. Managed to track down a copy in Auckland, and it was a re-released copy, admittedly, and I thrashed it. Just spent so many hours playing that game. And last year I thought, wouldn't it be nice to have a big box copy? So I started having a look around, and fortunately, on my first try, I managed to find this on Trade Me, so I grabbed it. I just really wanted to have this game in big box form on my shelf. This is about the time where I started wanting to reassemble my collection. And, for me, things like this was just astonishing that this was possible. I didn't know that you could do something like that. So driving around London and San Francisco in all manner of cars, trucks, buses and everything, it was just so much fun. And the Audi on the front here is actually significant to me because this is the game that introduced the Audi TT to me. And I really, really love that car. It's small, it looks good, it's fast as hell. It's just a really good racer. And so ever since then, and this is true of all racing games I've had since here, whenever I've had the chance to drive an Audi TT, I've always gone with it just because of this game. Now, I was a little bit dismayed in later life to learn that these cars are actually really cramped inside, but it doesn't really matter because it goes fast, and in a racing game, that's all you really want. But yeah, Midtown Madness 2, what an amazing game. I did play a little bit of Midtown Madness 1, but on my family's first computer, that game didn't work for whatever reason. And I just find that Midtown Madness 1, it's fun, but having started with this one, it's no comparison. And I don't have an Xbox, so I've never been able to play 3. So for me, this is the Midtown Madness experience. Legendary game. Another legendary game is Monster Truck Madness. Now, I got this one a few months ago when I was about to start work on the Farmer's Discovery video. And admittedly, that's actually the only time I've played this game. I think I've played a demo for the sequel to this, but for this game itself, I've only played once or twice. So I don't have strong memories or opinions of this game one way or the other. But from what I have played, it's pretty fun. It's a simple premise. You get into a monster truck, you just go. You race, you crush cars, whatever. And I can get behind that premise. Simple, good, dirty, fun. Yeah, it's a game. Haven't got strong feelings one way or the other, but it's alright. We're really getting into some legendary territory now. Railroad Tycoon. I got this one last year as I was starting to rebuild my collection, as I said earlier. Really wanted this game because I had 2 and 3, and I spent a lot of time on 2 and 3, but I'll come to that in a minute. But mainly because I wanted some DOS games. Now, I grew up with games from the late 90s and early 2000s, so DOS games for me are a bit of a mystery. I have very few of them, and I saw this one for a good price on eBay, Trade Me, and I thought, yeah, that ticks both boxes. It's a Railroad Tycoon game, and it's a DOS game. And I've played it on my PS2, and admittedly, I don't know what I'm doing. Because I'm so used to 2 and 3, trying to play that, it's it's very confusing, but I've tried and I just need a bit more practice, I suppose. Now, one really neat thing about this copy is it comes on 3 1/4 inch disc, but this particular one has also got the sealed 5 1/4 inch discs inside. Never been opened. And I don't plan on opening them because I have a thing about sealed software and boxes and things like that. If it's been sealed for this long, who the hell am I to go and open it? And I have seen plenty of games on TradeMe and eBay that have been advertised as sealed, but I don't want sealed. Partly because I don't want it to just sit there on the shelf and I can't do anything with. Now, I know a lot of people would say, well, you paid for it, so just open it up and have a go with it. And yeah, I can understand that, and I can understand why people want to unwrap these games for the first time, but I just don't like doing that. I feel like it's history and I'm tampering with it, and I just don't like doing that. But this one in particular, it's got a nice catalogue inside it with some games. Civilization, what kind of a nerd would play that? And one hell of a thick manual. Now this is when manuals were manuals. I have got some games that they've got like little 20-page things and things like that, but man, this is some heavy reading. And I can appreciate that. That's the sort of thing I like to see. And it's really a marker of years gone by that you get games like this and Civilization, Flight Simulator, that they had proper manuals. And it's an era that I was never able to experience. I grew up with either piddly small manuals or no manuals at all. And for a game like this, a manual is an absolute necessity. As is evidenced by the next game, Railroad Tycoon 2. I remember finding this one in a computer store when I was a kid. And it was only a DVD case, it was a re-release one. Didn't have any manuals or anything like that in it, so me as like a 10-year-old, I didn't know what I was doing. All I knew is that I could lay down tracks, run trains, and that was good enough for me. But I had to sort of figure out the game for myself, and I'd like to say that I'm successful-ish, but I mean, there's a hell of a lot more I could be getting out of the game than just that. So I wanted to get a big box copy of this game because I wanted the documentation inside. What was I missing out on? What tips and tricks and all that sort of thing? What were the gaps in my knowledge that I could fill with having a big box copy? And I looked around for a while, and there were some sealed copies and other copies for stupid prices and that. And I eventually found this one from Australia. And as you can see, it's not in the best condition. It's a bit battered, a bit torn, but it was a good price. And it's the game itself, and I thought, hey, this was one of the big games of my childhood. I don't really want to pass up on it. Now, there's one interesting thing about this copy. Let's see if you can figure out what it is. So, that, whoops, and that. Now, do you notice anything about it? Yeah, this case and this box do not match up. This is not the original disc for this. Now, I did see that on the eBay listing, and I thought that this was just some sort of Australian re-release. And it's not uncommon for games to be re-released in Australia and New Zealand with a slightly different title. The Sims 1, the entire game with all the expansions, that was re-released under its own title for Australia and New Zealand. So it's not unusual, and I did see this and I thought, well, okay, it's some sort of special Australian release. It works on the iMac, which I didn't realise this game had been released for the Macintosh, so I thought, hey, fantastic, I'll get it. Now, the thing is, this game, it's not the full game, which I found out much to my surprise. I put that onto the iMac and I installed it in that, and it was coming up with ads for buy Railroad Tycoon 2 Gold, and I thought, what? And then I found out it's only got 3 scenarios on it. I thought, what the hell's going on here? So I flipped it over, and that's when I realised this is just a sort of a demo, or like a promo copy. this isn't the full game, and I was pretty miffed about that. Now, again, I did know what I thought I knew what I was buying. It's not like the seller has done a big switcheroo or something like that. Just that this is, for some reason, the CD that ended up with this box. And so it was a little bit, I don't want to say useless, but it wasn't quite what I was after. So I had to start looking around on eBay to find a dual case that actually matched. And here it is. This one arrived about a week or so ago. So I finally have a dual case that matches the box. So I'll match them up here now. Now, the thing that I should talk about with this is a good opportunity to talk about prices. Now, getting things sent to Australia and New Zealand costs extra because of distance. And big box games are no exception. Now, big box games are becoming quite the collector's items, and they're commanding some very hefty prices. It doesn't help that they're commanding hefty prices, and then you've got to pay a hell of a lot more to get them shipped down to Australia and New Zealand. Now, the game itself can cost, let's say $20 or $30 or something like that, but very often the postage and the import duties can be twice what you pay for the game. I believe this one was, I think I got this for about $20 US. It was about $40 US just to get it shipped here and get through customs. And this is just an unfortunate reality of collecting big box games in Australia and New Zealand. Not much you can do about it. You either pay a premium to get the games shipped here, or you pay a premium for what games are available here. So there's no real way around it. But Railroad Tycoon 2 is a fantastic game. I have many, many fond memories of this, and I really need to get back into this and see if I can figure out how to beat those scenarios in the 2nd century. But anyway, moving along, we come to Rally Championship 2000. Now, this was actually the first racing game that I played, and one of the first computer games I ever played. And I played this as a 5 or 6-year-old on my uncle's computer, and it was just so amazing to sit in front of a racing wheel with pedals and drive cars in this game. And I wasn't paying attention to time limits or anything like that. I was just driving. So this game was just amazing to me as a kid. As you can see here, just you have a car that you can drive. What is this sorcery? It was just amazing. And I have so many fond memories of this game as a child. And this map here, Port Soderick, is still my favourite. It's always a go-to one with me, that whenever I play this game, I always have to go and have a spin around Port Soderick. It's got, I think, 36 courses or something like that in it. Hell of a fun game. And I haven't played very many rally games in my life, but I don't really want to because I've got this. And for me, this will do fine. Now, a funny story about this one is that I had been looking around for this one on eBay for a little while, and there were very few copies. I did see one that popped up in the UK, but that was going to cost me something like $100 to get out to New Zealand. I thought, no, I'm not paying that. And then recently it popped up on eBay, and I can't remember exactly how much I paid for it, but it would have been about half that. And I thought, yeah, I'm willing to pay that. I had been looking for this for ages. I finally found it for a good price. I thought, right, sold. And then a couple of weeks ago it popped up on Trade Me with a starting price of $1. It bloody well would, wouldn't it? But never mind. This is a really great rally game all the same. If you're after a good rally game from about this era, just get this one. Don't bother with Colin McRae or any of those other ones. Get this one. It's the best one, in my not so humble opinion. And finally for this set, or for this video I should say, a rather battered looking copy of RollerCoaster Tycoon Corkscrew Follies expansion pack. Now I'm going to take this as an opportunity to talk about RollerCoaster Tycoon itself. That was another very early game of mine that I played around the turn of the millennium. And I've never got too far with the original game. I always was more of a fan of the second one. But it was a lot of fun all the same. And I saw this one pop up on Tradely recently, and it was only a very low price, and I thought, yeah, okay, I'll add that one to the shelf. Now, about the same time as I got that one, I actually got a couple of Scholastic copies of the game itself with both expansion packs as well. So those are the CDs I use now. This box I don't actually need for the game inside, but it's still there on my shelf to sort of represent one of those other big games of my childhood. And, you know, RollerCoaster Tycoon, it's a fun game. What else is there to say? It's just great fun in general. Anyway, that will do for this video. I am going to be working on part 2, and you should be seeing that soon. But thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you back for the second part, where we'll be taking on more games, the second half of the collection. And you can probably guess what's next, given that we're halfway through and we've only just finished the R's. So anyway, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye now.